Oh, ni hao. I want to talk to you about what I've been planning to do for a really long time with my flashcards, which is adding sentences. I know a lot of people only do sentences on their flashcards, and hats off to you. But for me, I need to get very comfortable with the initial character, with the initial word. Let's just say before I can move on to full sentences. But what I did is because I've talked about Learn with Oliver, which is becoming my new favorite tool right now for HSK1 and 2. So what I realized is I started saving some of the sentences that they sent via email reminder, because they send a sentence a day and they break down the different parts of the sentence, and it's really helpful, and I like to quiz myself on how much of it I can read each day that they send a sentence. So I started to save some of them because I wanted to put them on the flashcards, and finally yesterday I had the headspace and the time to do that. And for, what is this one? This one is a new card for me. It's because in English, and it's not Fei Chi, it's Yin Wei. Yin Wei? Yin Wei. Yin Wei. Yin Wei. So what I did was I initially had, here's the beginning of the sentence, and here is the word that we're looking at, yin wei. And then I put a dot dot dot, because when I put the full sentence on there, let's face it, a sentence with because is a very long sentence, and I didn't have room for just the pinyin by itself, just the translation by itself, and even now I don't have room for decomposing it, which kind of makes me sad. So I don't know. Part of me thinks I might move the beginning part of the sentence to the front and then have this down here and then have the pinyin here on the back. And that way they'll free up the space for the other things. Because seeing it in a sentence, if I can read the sentence and figure it out from context, I think that would only help in remembering it, as opposed to giving me too many hints. I already have too many hints. I have syllables, I have which HSK list it's on. I mean, I have all kinds of hints all over the place. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with scaffolding my way into remembering this stuff. So I think I might do that, but I'm just experimenting now. But what's really good about Learn with Oliver, plug, not sponsored, but wouldn't mind it, is is that you can go onto their website and you can put in a word in Chinese, and they will give you the sentences that it has with it. So I went through, and there were about 6 or 7 sentences with this word, because, which is yin wei. And so I was able to look, and they have them by level, and I picked a beginner level sentence with because, and that's what I put the beginning of on here. So it's really, really useful if you're looking for sentences. Like, I was debating for a long time. There's a comedy group, Mama Hoo Hoo, which are like foreigners and locals together doing comedy skits about China on YouTube, and they're wonderful. They're absolutely wonderful. You should check them out. Mama Hoo Hoo. I'll put it down in the show notes. And I really wanted to, they speak in Chinese with subtitles all the time, and I wanted to pull sentences from there, and it's just too hard, and I don't know how to figure out if they're using Shanghaiese, which is where they are, which is where I am, or if they're using Mandarin. It was just too complicated. And what if it was too informal, or if it was idioms, and no, it was just too much for me right now. I'm shelving that for the future. And then I was debating on taking the ones from Pleco, but I'll never forget my tutor making a face at the sentences in Pleco, which makes me think that the sentences in Pleco may not be its strongest point. Fair enough, the rest of Pleco is brilliant. So when I saw these sentences, because I've been playing with them in the email reminders they send every day, I like these sentences. These sentences seem like less ridiculous sentences. They're doable for me to read at least 50% of each sentence, which feels really confidence boosting. So they're grading the whole sentence down to a certain level, not just the word, which is beautiful. As an ex-language teacher, I love that. I love being able to have a form of success on the sentence level, even at this stage of my learning. So I think I'm going to keep doing that with the sentences, is type in the word and go in and pick a sentence at a very low level and put it on here, and use that as a clue for what the meaning is. I'm going to obviously include that in the process step, before the review steps of the Lightner box that I just started. Just did a video about that, so please feel free to check that out. So, yeah, I'm liking sentences. I'm liking being able to read sentences. If the sentence is short, I'll put the full sentence. But for conjunctions like because, the sentences are so long, they would take up the front and the back of the flashcard. I can't write tiny in Chinese just now. It takes me forever just to write big. So I can't make it smaller. I can't write that small yet, and I can't read that small yet. All of these words are still so new to me, so that's not a possibility just yet. I can print them, but printing is really difficult in my current situation, so that's not a possibility. That will hinder my process. And I like writing in Chinese, so the Hanzi characters are really fun for me to write, so I like sitting down and doing the strokes, as you may have seen from previous videos. Anyway, so it's a process. They may look ugly, they may not look how they're supposed to, but with time that will get better. I hope. Anyway, so that is, I'm finally getting sentences onto the flashcards, albeit in a slow manner, but it's happening. It's happening, folks. Sentences, words and sentences. I am pretty excited that we're moving now towards actual meaning, not just the background of the language, which needed to happen, but I'm glad we're moving on to more meaningful language. And looking at the HSK2 language, I'm really excited that there's some stuff in there that I think I'll start to see in newspapers. So it's happening, and I will schedule my weekly newspaper video. I'm going to do that as soon as I stop this video, because that needs to happen. That's one of the things I want to do, and you need to do your goal now, not later. So, anyway, thank you for watching, and appreciate if you work with sentences when you were learning new vocabulary, especially a language as different as Chinese is to English speakers. Please leave some comments down below in the section. How did you do it? Where did you pull your sentences from? It doesn't matter what language it is, but where did you get your information? What level of formality, or what did you use learning materials? Did you use authentic materials? I'd love to hear your stories. Thank you so much. Satian.